us a favor and RSVP. It would really help us because we have to give a guarantee every week. So thank you for those who did it, and we're going to run those of you who did not do it after the meeting. Also, real quick, 50-yard line members, just make something. We got the biggest turnout of 50-yard line members we've ever had. So down front, we got sponsors, and we have 50-yard line members. The problem is you can't bring guests if you're a 50-yard line member, and people would say, well, how come? I want to bring a guest. Well, tell Jeff Long and Brett Bielema when you have a 50-yard line ticket that you're just going to bring somebody and have them sit beside you, even though you only have one 50-yard line ticket. That's the way it works here, is that it's a section for those who've done it. If you bring guests, that knocks out people who've already paid the 50-yard line. So if you want to bring a guest, just sit in the regular section. Or if you want to have a place for them to sit, buy two 50-yard line members. And I do want to thank you, 50-yard line members, that you pay over and above, and we appreciate that. Super Club members that you're paying for the National Football Foundation, the College Football Hall of Fame. So thank you for doing that. Just be respectful when you sit down. If you see a company name logo in front of you, if that's not your company, you're probably not supposed to be there. If you see a 50-yard line, you're not supposed to be there. And we hadn't hired any goons yet to come move people out of the way. We don't want to do that, but push came to shove. Also, if you're not getting our emails, there's a sheet on the tables to put your correct email address. Please do that during the meeting sometime. We'll get those after the meeting. Also, another option, you can prepay online this year, which is really cool. If you want to prepay, you come in and say, I paid. We've got a record of it. You don't have to bring any money. So that's an option that we're real excited to have, too. So bear with us. Listen, this is a great problem to have. We had a sold-out deal last week. If I'd have realized this, we'd have taken another ballroom section. Good problem to have. I apologize that quarters are tight, but, this is like locker room stuff. You smell each other, stinky, that's all kind of, who uses deodorant, who doesn't. Anybody want to point? All you got to do next time, just leave a bar deodorant where that person is sitting. Don't have to say a word. They get the message. All right, we got some special guests here I want us to recognize. Starting off, so excited that he found time on his busy schedule. This governor is probably busier than any I've seen, and we've had some busy ones. He's here. I think he's going to try to make a couple if his schedule will allow. He's the 46th governor of our state, and he roasted me at this same podium a few weeks back, and I had to read his line that he said. When Governor Hutchinson said, in talking about David Basil, he's given his time and talent to our state again and again. There hasn't been a charity event he hasn't emceed, a church he hasn't spoken to, a youth group he hasn't inspired, or a girl he hasn't hugged. So that was, so please welcome our governor, Governor Asa Hutchinson. He was saying he thought he could take Peyton and Felix pretty easy, he said, as he stood beside him. I also want to acknowledge J.R. Davis and Kane Webb and his staff, great guys, and always great working with them. Also, our state treasurer is here, Dennis Milligan. Where is Dennis? Let's give him a round of applause. Dennis, great to have you here. One of the most unique mamas I have ever met. And, my mom was here last week, and she's a unique mama in a different way than this mama. But this is Mama Sterner. This is Linda Sterner, the mother of Clint Sterner. Linda, will you please stand? Let's recognize you. She said, if I come to that meeting, I'm sitting with the governor. That's the way it goes, the way I roll. And who knew when you were birthing that little boy down the table here, in the pain and misery, that you were squeezing out 57 career touchdown passes for the Razorbacks down the road. How about that? God bless you. Thank you. Do want to recognize Peyton Hillis' wife, Amanda. Where's Amanda? Please stand and let's give her a round of applause. Peyton's uncle and grandfather, Larry and Greg Hillis, where are they at? Are they here? Where are they at? Please stand and let us give you a round of applause. Great to have Larry and Greg here. And to my left, a guy I'm super proud of. I just introduced his mom. Not only was he a great quarterback for the Razorbacks and also quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, but he is the new analyst for the SEC Network. He is doing a great job, and his star will continue to rise. Please get up for Clint Sterner, everybody. Clint's as good as anybody at ESPN, SEC Network, and I think there's more to come for Clint. Great job, proud of you, and you're going to do a fantastic job. And also nice to have a Razorback up there talking on our behalf, isn't it? You can be a homer every once in a while, Clint. It's all right. Hey, I will do a sponsor roll call real quickly if you don't mind. Do you want to thank Twin City Limousine, Dale Bennett, Greg Hatcher for their support. Little Rock Convention and Visitor Bureau, Gretchen Hall, David Russell. I think I saw David earlier. Thank you so much. Proud to be here in Little Rock. 103.7 The Buzz, Steve Johnson, Justin Aker. They did a great interview with Felix and Peyton earlier. CJRW, Richard McCowan, who handles our Cliff Harris Award publicity. Thank you, CJRW. Epic Health, Mike Whitfield, Scott Davis. And do you see Tim Langford's high-profile piece from Arkansas Urology? Very nice. They're doing great things to help men, so thank you, Epic Health. Farm Bureau from Pulaski County, Todd Dennis, Shauna Hopper, and Stephen Reichard. They're a new sponsor this year. Where are you guys at? For all your insurance needs, go to those guys right there. There's their sign. If you need car, insurance, whatever, life, they're the guys to go to. Good, great to have you guys here this year. Wendy's, Nan Trammell. You're going fast food, stop by Wendy's on behalf of the Little Rock Touchdown Club if you don't mind. Also, too, Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is the Cliff Harris Award. This costs about $3,000 to reproduce every year, and we give it to the winner. Every winner gets one. And you don't think those small college players are just wowed when they get this thing? So if it weren't for Judy and her fine staff at Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, 116 years old, 2 locations, Little Rock and Rogers, 67 attorneys. She's also a licensed agent. I do have to say real quick, they're my personal law team. What was the OJ, what would they call them, the dream team? Judy and Seth Jewell, they're my legal dream team, and I'm so thankful that they are fighting for me in court. The battle will go on. I'm going to win, and I'm going to do like a dance when I win right in court. But thank you, Judy and Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, for what you guys do and for all your work with athletes as well. Do want to thank Crane Automotive, Larry Crane, Chris Crane, Drew Dees, 13 dealerships, 9 here in Central Arkansas. They employ over 750 Arkansans, y'all. So go by one of the Crane dealerships. Drew, thanks so much. Go by one of the Crane dealerships and tell them you're a member of the Touchdown Club and make them give you a good deal. We appreciate their sponsorship. You also sponsor the Northwest Arkansas Touchdown Club, which is great. Great to have the Democrat Gazette back again for our, gosh, this is year number 12. Year number 12, and they've been great, supportive. Thanks to Wally Hall and Amanda Copley for their help. Last but not least, Simmons Bank. We would not be where we are right now if Simmons hadn't have jumped in and carried the torch for Metropolitan Bank. And so thankful for George Macris, who's not here today. So we have the backup quarterback in. Of course, we always have Adam Mitchell, which is great to have Adam. He's always here. I don't think he missed maybe one meeting last year, the whole year. And also Barry Ledbetter. But I'm telling you, Simmons is a great bank. It's my bank. Matter of fact, just to show you, where's Paris Tatum at? Is she here? Is Paris here? Where'd she go? This is the woman who I have to call and get money moved and all. This is our personal banker for Simmons. And you talking about great service, great testimony to Simmons Bank and the kind of service they give. Paris, glad to have you here. Let's give a round of applause to Simmons Bank and all of our great sponsors. I can't acknowledge or deny that sometimes I call and say my personal account is empty and that I have to put funds there. Don't say a word. Do want to acknowledge also our Touchdown Club team, Matt Johnson from Matt Johnson Productions in the back. Thank you. Live streaming right now if somebody wants to watch it. Peyton, if you got buddies somewhere in the country, anybody, Felix, if they want to see you talk, you can tell them right now to go to lrtouchdown.com, and it's live. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you're live all over the world today. Dwayne Duncan Photography. Dwayne's back in the back, always takes great pictures, was there last week and had some great ones for Bielema. Brent Passmore, who does our website, redesigned it. So thankful to him. RJ Hawk at Little Rock Touchdown Club is our Twitter handle. Right now, he's social media stuffing right now, tweeting, whatever you call it. He's doing it right now. lrtouchdown.com is the website, of course, Facebook. And what's our Instagram account? LR Touchdown Club. Pretty simple. If you plug in some of those names, surely it'll work. Little Rock Touchdown Club. Thank you, RJ. And real quick, we couldn't do this if we didn't have volunteers. And I want to, if these folks are here, to stand up real quick. Marilyn Miller, Melissa Nelson, Melinda Smith, Marilyn Zornick, Shelly Adams, Tanya Lyons, Lauren Landers, Julie Tabor, Ed Smith, Louis Nally, and Lee Danner. Please stand and let's give those folks a round of applause. They're all the folks who, there they are over there, some over there, there's some right there. These are folks who come and give their time every week, and you guys are members and still help out. And all the check-in specialists, we thank them. We couldn't do it without them. And last but not least, you look at this room and it's crazy. Let's give it up for Debbie Wyman, our executive director, who works so hard, has to answer all your emails. And we don't have a full schedule, but we thought we'd get Rex up here just to give a quick list of our schools. Next week, he'll have a complete weekend recap. Let's give it up for the one and only Rex Nelson, everybody.
Thank you, David, and we apologize. This really is tight quarters. If you know David Basil, though, you know how tight he is, and what you don't know is that this club is paying for the room by the square foot this year, so that's what happened. Just so you know, David, I knew it was going to be a big crowd when I came in because I get here early, and the line was already out the door. Last time I was in a line that long was last fall at the funnel cake line at the Arkansas State Fair. Only difference was the people in this line had a lot more teeth than the people in that line. I mean, and they were white instead of green here, so just so you know. I mean, people, look at this, David. People are literally having to hold their breath out here. The last time I saw this many people holding their breath is when John L. Smith spoke to this club 3 years ago. Good to be coaching at the University of Alabama. Wow. How far we have come, haven't we? How far we have come. Thank goodness. All right, not much to recap, although I do want to note that football returned to Line College in Batesville, formerly Arkansas College, for the first time in 65 years this past weekend. Now, a team out of Tabor College won 45-21. Tabor is, by the way, Tabor is a Mennonite school. I was hoping they would bring their cheerleaders. I wanted to see how Mennonite cheerleaders dressed, but they didn't. I was there. But it really was a atmosphere. And is in the NAI. Oh, Hendricks returned football 2 years ago, and Hendricks and Line each other up in Conway of September 12th. Added 2 more programs. Never been back to state or more up. Now, we have BS schools, of course, Arkansas State, 2 BS schools, UCF, PB, Section 2 schools, Washington, Harding, Arkansas, UAM, and so 1 in Division 3 school, 1 in a school that's Line Junior College, that's Baptist College here in Lubbock. That is 13 football programs we now have a state of less than 3 million. We do like our football. In fact, everybody, Jim Rasco, you can wrong. Best I know, ever had football in the state, with the exception of Clarksville and Philadelphia, Little Rock, now has football, all right? Well, UALR, yeah. Back to Little Rock Junior College teams. So, there 13 football programs. Week for high school football. 2 games tonight at War Memorial Stadium. 2 games at Golden Line Stadium. So 4 games tonight. In fact, if you like school football, you'll support it. At War Memorial this week, there are games tonight, Tuesday night, Thursday night, between Benton and Friday night. So tonight, Thursday, and Friday, nights of action this week at War Memorial. Football this week. They plays on Thursday at Sanford, not Stanford. School from Birmingham, Alabama, against Arkansas at War years ago. Now is at East Central Oklahoma. Henderson is at South Oklahoma. Northwest Oklahoma plays at UA Arkansas Tech. So on the road are Nazarene over in the area. So 5 Arkansas teams in action Thursday. The rest on Saturday. Of course, we have Utah, Arkansas, Saturday afternoon. We have Arkansas State at UA. I know we got a few Red Wolves in here. Anybody makes that trip over to for that game, I do know that Coach Sark has invited you by the house after the ball games. Just wanted to make that. Southwestern Oklahoma, Southern Arkansas, at Oklahoma Baptist. Lindsey Wilson, I'm not sure if she, but Lindsey Wilson, Line College, is down in Sherman, Texas, Austin College. Those games on Thursday. And then UAP national television game Sunday when they're in Orlando, where the will play South State. So 5 Arkansas kick it off on Sunday. There are 6 action on Saturday, action on Sunday. Time for college football, everybody.
Thanks. All right. I did want to say, every week the sponsors, and we got a lot of. I really do encourage you for all you see here. Try to go by your business. Give them the chance to have your business. We all think alike. We're all in the same together, and really great if you can do that. Announcements. Charlie White. Now I can make a guarantee, guys. Weiss will be the healthiest non-coach we've ever brought in. What is it? He's 25 million? 25. More power to him. Wish I could come up with a deal like that. To get Charlie Weiss, I think, just call an agent. It was very difficult to Weiss to get him to come here. And a lot of these guys are making they don't have to come, so it's great. Remember, 3 championships as offensive coordinator in England before he left. One time he was respected and offensive mind. Say some pretty interesting things. Then the following week, Brown is going to be moved. I apologize. We could get him his agent called. That money will be downtown, and we're going to have a venue. NFL recent induction Hall of Fame. He's going to give great speeches. He's got books to sign. Thursday we'll be back down in the room. So just wanted to make those announcements. We're going to bring up Jim Rand. Introduce Peyton. Peyton's going to sit right there. Give each of them a round of applause, and then we'll give our standard Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to both of them. All right, Jim? Nobody does introductions better than Jim Rascal. Let's give him a welcome. Jim Rascal, everybody.
Okay. This guest played his high school football at Booker T. Washington High in Tulsa. As a junior, he scored 20 touchdowns before suffering a broken ankle. As a senior, he led his team to a state runner-up finish in Class 5A. For the season, he rushed for 2,282 yards and 41 touchdowns, with 3 TDs in the state championship game. The Tulsa World named him their Player of the Year. As all of you know, he came to Fayetteville in the fall of 2005 and spent 3 seasons as a Razorback. His raw statistics are so impressive that I'm going to break them down by category. Here goes. Average yards gained per rushing attempt, 8.7 in 2007, still first in Razorback history. 7.6 in 2006, third in Razorback history, and 6.3 in 2005, seventh in Razorback history. For his career, he gained 2,956 yards, and his average of 7.7 per carry remains the best average in Razorback history. Now, average yards per kickoff return, 31.9 in 2005, still first in Razorback history. 29.6 in 2007, still the second best average in history. 24.1 in 2006, eighth in history. So that's 28.2 yards per return for his career, which is, of course, the best in school history. He had 100-yard touchdown returns against Mississippi State in 2005 and against Ole Miss in 2006. He added 2 more kickoff returns for touchdowns in 2007 for a total of 4 in his career. Now I'll sort of jump around a little with some more facts. His 76-yard touchdown in the 2007 Capital One Bowl remains the longest run from scrimmage in a Razorback Bowl game. He scored both Razorback TDs in that game as Arkansas lost 17-14. And I know all of you remember that last week's guest speaker was the winning head coach that day. He had a 46-yard kickoff return in the 2008 Cotton Bowl. This was his final game as a Razorback, and it remains the longest kickoff return for a Razorback in a bowl game. In 2005, he became the first Razorback freshman ever named first-team All-America as the College Football News selected him as their kick returner. In 2006, he had an 85-yard touchdown run that was the 4th longest run from scrimmage in Razorback history. He rushed for 1,168 yards, second in the SEC to teammate Darren McFadden, and both were named first-team All-SEC running backs by 2 different selectors. In 2007, he rushed for 1,162 yards and was a consensus first-team All-America kick returner. In addition to being named first-team All-SEC as a kick returner, he was selected as the SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. As everyone in this room knows, he decided to forego his senior season and to enter the 2008 NFL Draft, and he was a first-round choice of the Dallas Cowboys. You've heard more than enough from me, but I do want to mention a couple other items about his career. This is his pro career. In his first rushing attempt in the NFL, he ran for an 11-yard touchdown in a 28-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns. Then on Monday Night Football against the Eagles, he returned a kickoff, 98 yards for a touchdown, and the Cowboys won 41-37. In his third game, he ran 60 yards for a touchdown against the Packers. Like most NFL running backs, he suffered more injuries than I can list. But in his second season, he set the Cowboys' franchise record with an average of 5.9 yards per rushing attempt. In the postseason against the Eagles, he led the Cowboys to their first playoff win in 13 years. In that game, he led the team with 16 carries for 148 yards, including a 73-yard touchdown run. This is the longest run in Cowboy postseason history. In 2010, he led the Cowboys in rushing for the season with 800 yards, and he also caught 48 passes, including the longest reception in his career, 71 yards. Okay, enough from me. Please welcome Razorback number 25, Felix Jones. Okay, as all of you know, it's very rare that we have a guest speaker that played his high school football in Central Arkansas. Today we have a speaker that was a highly recruited player at Conway High School. He was named to the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette's All-Arkansas team as a junior, and as a senior he received the Landers Award as the top high school player in Arkansas. And along with Adrian Peterson, he was named as running back on the 2003 Parade All-America team. He enrolled at Arkansas in the fall of 2004, and his college career started with a bang as he scored 6 touchdowns in the first 4 games of the season, including 2 touchdowns against Alabama and 1 against Texas. In the 5th game of the year, a Florida player illegally speared him in the back and fractured 3 of our speaker's transverse processes. He was slated to miss the rest of the season, but he returned to score touchdowns against Ole Miss and LSU. That gave him 8 touchdowns for 2004. That total was tops for the Razorbacks and 4th in the SEC. As a sophomore in 2005, he accounted for 947 all-purpose yards. In the season opener, on only 14 carries, he gained 135 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. But with a couple of freshmen named McFadden and Jones joining him in the backfield, he caught 38 passes to become the first Razorback running back in 24 years to lead the team in receiving. He also led the team in punt returns. Then as a junior in 2006, he was named Offensive Player of the Week in the Razorbacks' 38-3 win over Ole Miss. In that game, he caught 6 passes and ran for a touchdown. Along with McFadden, Felix Jones, and Marcus Monk, he appeared on the cover of the 2007 Razorback Media Guide. During the season, he led the team with 49 pass receptions, giving him 118 for his career, tying him with Chuck Dicus at 7th in Razorback history. He received the Paul Eels Award, the Crip Hall Award, and was named second-team All-SEC and was chosen to play in the Senior Bowl. I have just enough time left to give you a couple of highlights of his 6 seasons in the NFL. As a rookie with the Denver Broncos against the Dolphins, he started at fullback, caught 7 passes for 116 yards and a touchdown, then moved to running back and recorded his first 100-yard rushing game with 129 yards and a touchdown in a 34-17 road victory over the Jets. That performance earned him Pepsi's NFL Rookie of the Week, as well as the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. His rookie season ended as he came down with an acrobatic catch of a Jay Cutler pass with his right foot planted. He was hit from both sides, and the result was a 3-inch tear in his right hamstring behind the knee. Despite his limited playing time, he ended his rookie season as the Broncos' leading rusher with 343 yards and 5 touchdowns. His outstanding year was with the Cleveland Browns in 2010. He rushed for 1,177 yards and 11 touchdowns, and he caught 61 passes for 2 more touchdowns. Due to this breakout season, he was the Browns' finalist in the contest to appear on the cover of the Madden NFL 12 game. They voted week by week, and after upsetting Ray Rice, Matt Ryan, Super Bowl MVP Aaron Rodgers, he advanced to the finals against Michael Vick. And on April the 27th, 2011, our speaker was announced as the cover athlete for the Madden NFL game as he received 66% of the vote. After an excellent start to the 2011 season, the Madden curse came to life, and hamstring injuries cost him the middle part of the year. He closed out with strong games against Arizona and Baltimore to finish with 587 yards and 22 pass receptions. He wound up his NFL career with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2012 and with the New York Giants in 2013. But now let's go back to November 23rd, 2007. It's Arkansas playing in Death Valley against the #1 team in the nation. I get choked up talking about this. Start again. November 23rd, 2007, it's Arkansas playing in Death Valley against the #1 team in the nation, the LSU Bengal Tigers. Our guest scores 4 touchdowns, including a 65-yard scoring run, and in his final regular season game, he leads the Razorbacks to a 50-48 triple overtime victory over the eventual national champs. Please welcome Razorback number 22, Peyton Hillis.
All right. Have you guys ever been introduced like that before? That's a heck of an introduction. Thanks, Jim. Hopefully we'll get it to where everybody can see and our mics are working good. How we sounding back there in the back? We're okay? All right, super. Well, what I told these guys before we do some Q&A, I'm going to do some Q&A with them. I wanted to give them the opportunity just to say a few words, just what off the top of your head, top of your heart, and then we're going to start with Peyton and then let Felix do the same.
You know, it's good to be back here today, and more importantly, it's good to be back in Arkansas. You know, as me and my wife moved back to the state here recently, you know, I really never appreciated when I was here the kind of camaraderie we have as a state and that backs the Razorbacks like we do. You know, I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of things, but there's nothing like a Razorback, and there's nothing like a school that we have, and there's nothing like a fan base that we have. And so, you know, for me to be up here is an honor, but I'd like to give thanks to all of you because of what we have in this state, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm just happy to be back here in Razorback land, you know. I definitely appreciate the honor. David reached out to me, and, you know, I had to think about it. Like, I know this name, but let me look him up on Google.
Oh, Lord. I'm telling you what popped up there.
But, yeah, was definitely excited that you reached out to me, and I appreciate that. Definitely glad to be back here in Arkansas, you know, where I spent some premier years. This has, you know, helped create the success I had, you know, the Razorbacks. And, you know, I'm definitely excited about coming back and being here at the Embassy Suites. You know, it brings back old memories. We used to wake up and go to War Memorial right after this, and, you know, and I'm just excited, you know, to be here, and decided to be back in the sea of red. And, you know, just happy that, you know, I had a chance to come back and, you know, talk about my memories and be a part of certain things like the Little Rock Touchdown Club. And I definitely want to appreciate for reaching out to me. Little Rock Touchdown Club, glad to see Peyton again, and happy to be here.
Awesome, perfect. You know, I talked to the guys. They were featured. We honored all of you guys. You two, and Darren. You won the Paul Lills Award that night. You were honored as all SEC player, and Darren won the MVP. All three of them were at the Little Rock Touchdown Club award ceremony. I guess it was 2007. Is that right? I may be wrong on the year. 7, yeah. But you know what's amazing? You look at these two guys, and you got these two guys plus that guy you saw rip off that 15-yarder in the preseason game the other night that looked from Darren McFadden. How did we not win the national championship with these three running backs? I mean, I think that's the first thing you think of. The other thing, this is one of the reasons I love football too, and it happens with any group. But look at the distinct differences in styles too. You got Mr. Cowboy with a snakeskin boot. You got Mr. GQ over here. Yeah, of them love being back. So I love the Razorbacks. Of course, being a native, it's great for him to be back here. Real quick, why don't we do this? Didn't listen to the buzz today. Peyton, everybody, what you're up to?
As of right now, I'm actually coaching at Silent Springs High School, and really enjoy it. You know, I don't really need my life. I just thought I could give back, and you know, what I really enjoy is football, and you know, to be with kids to see how much at life pure they are. You know, you try to lead them down the right path and try to do the right things that you know they're not normally accustomed to. But you know, I really enjoy kids. I enjoy being in the community. I can just help one kid. That's all.
And that's up inside, correct? And we introduced your. And you've got two kids, right? How old are your?
One's 9 and one's 2.
Wow. Have you already? Do you had the tendency to want to correct a player? Do you the kind coach that does, or have you tried to pretty strongly your teaching tools, or how do you yourself as a coach?
Well, I was raised with a lot of tough love. And, my uncle, my grandpa, sitting here, and you know,
Tough.
much thanks I was given my father to raise me. You know, I had a good foundation as far as my whole family goes, and Dad would always be consistently on, you know, this is not good enough, good enough, and a lot of people today in this correct world that we live in, you know, always look at that as bad. I think we need more competitors now. We need people that want to go out and compete, want to do better for themselves. And if I didn't have that growing up, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And my whole career, I've never been anybody's guy. I've always had to start and rise to the top. And I'm very proud of that. Because if I didn't have the foundation I had as a young kid, I wouldn't be there today.
Well said, Peyton. Yeah. So on the other hand, when I reached out to I knew there was a possibility. I knew that he was still trying to the team, and even though he agreed to his agent talk with his agent, listen, I told him, I said, listen, this gets to trial, and he said, oh, you know, we'll understand what, Peyton by himself, but tell folks where you're at, where you live, and sort of what you're doing, and what your thoughts as far as continuing your NFL.
Well, I'm located in Dallas, Texas. When I got drafted, I couldn't leave and go anywhere else. If I was going anywhere else, back to Arkansas. But I'm still in Dallas and still working out, trying out for teams. You know, I hope things happen, you know, to happen. But if not, you know, I'm definitely excited about what I did and where I've been. You know, I got my family at home well, and, you know, I'm just excited about, you know, my family grow. You know, I had a lot of doing this thing, but I definitely want to for a few more years. If not, you know, I'm excited and had a chance to do what I want to do, my dream, and I'm just happy with that.
And some of you in good enough shape, or you still in shape? Somebody said you went to one of the senior combines, which is sort of a new thing I was doing, and it's something that you ran a 4.8 yesterday. That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I think whoever, you know, started before or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm definitely.
You're still running with from.
Man, I think I still run 4.4, 4.5. You know.
And weight the same as far as.
Weight. I actually gained a little muscle since I had more time to kind of work out all year. So.
Well, I did run a 10.87 meters when you were in high school.
I was light and quick. Yep.
And that's why you had so many touchdowns. Speaking of high school, real quick, Ken, I know that here in the state you were an award winner, highly recruited. Talk real briefly about what you about the recruiting process, your decision to go to Arkansas, between going somewhere else. You was the coach, just your experience that you remember, you recall.
Well, you know, time for me because I really wasn't recruited by everybody in the country. But you know, when you grow up in the state, you live in this state. In the back of my head, I always knew I was going to go. And I mean, you try to use that against us and everything else to go see these other places in the world, and they get to pay for it. It's on. But you know,
where did you? What schools that you did look at?
I went to Oklahoma, Nebraska, and I was wanting me to go to Miami that time. Really huge, and I was down there and see that, but it just didn't. And you know, after a while, I just was sitting eating with my family at dinner, and I was like, we just need to end this. Let's just call Coach Snow. Tell him I want to be. Well, I called up, and of course, everybody knows that you can't help it.
It'd be Danny for those.
Oh, Danny. Sorry, forgive me. I'm Dean. Me and Felix, story after story, what happened in the film.
Please do.
But I tell you, why not? Danny, he always had a problem hearing after his service, but football, it doesn't matter. We always tell you no matter what. And Danny used to turn off the light, and we watch. And I'd just sit there, and he just read lips really well. And so I'd just sit there looking at the screen, and I go, D-Nut, you ugly. And he couldn't. He goes, hit that. I was like, Coach, we got the mic back right. He goes, yeah, we got that mic. Deal. But when you look back on it, and during the process when you're going through troubles, and that's anything in life, what you do. Question: should I have done things differently? Should I have went down that path or went down that path? My life would have turned out different. But at the end of the day, the Lord's going to put you where you need to be, and everything works out for good. And looking back on life, growing up in a small state, in a small town, I accomplished it. And even though I wanted more, gave me more than I deserved. And that's the bottom line of things. I think we need to look at ourselves and understand that this is what we be. And this is as much God can give us, and we just got to live there.
And I'm going to come back to that. I was talking with Peyton today about how he, from a viewpoint, his career, I think it's really interesting how he, is on himself. I think he now is at the point to recognize and acknowledge, hey, I did accomplish some pretty amazing things. I wanted to ask Felix, the Tulsa World Player of the Year, Jim mentioned, we didn't know you as well. You heard about you, but what was your process like? Was it, where was our mix with other schools?
And it was definitely tough. I got hurt my junior year. A lot of people were interested in me from my season, but when I got hurt my junior year, a lot of schools kind of dropped the picture. And so it was kind of for me mentally, keep my focus on what's healthy. I got to do this, got to do that, get back into it. I had spent a year with my foot, and I remember I used to sit at home on Saturday and watch college football and do push-ups commercial because I said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there one day. So, I just trying to get that focus on, just keep working, happen, but you got to fight through it. And, I had made it past getting out of I passed on cutting my boot off, just little simple things that I didn't appreciate, it made me appreciate a lot more things that, normal to me before, but it can be taken away. And just walking with those things. And I got up and got moving around. I missed basketball season. I got to start running, and that's how I got into running a 10. And it brought some attention back. And, I just kept working, and finally, football season in my senior year, and I met Coach Allen.
Bobby Allen. He didn't realize Allen, Brandon, Austin were 1 and 2 at Arkansas. He's got 2 boys that are 1 and 2. Sorry, didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great for to know that we have access brothers that can go. We got Arkansas as.
Anyway, Bobby.
Well, Bobby came down. He actually recruited a team the year before, and back and said, I want to go try look at your running back you have. So this is I talked to him and everything, but he came back. We met. Just give us, man. We that you have a lot of Texas and Tennessee were my other 2 schools that offered me at that point in time. But I took trips. I went to A&M. I went to C, and it was my last one. And when I got here, it was just little things that kind of in. I say one of the things was quarters. Man, we had the best quarters. And all I've been to, it's the best. Yeah, and that's what made
Wilson Sharp dorm at
it was
the old guys really made on that, Felix.
quads. It was quads, I think. And but one thing, living was one thing. You know, I got on and it was like, you know, and that's the football stadium, and it just looked so beautiful. Top of the hill, you can see the field, and it was like, man, a lot of things that grabbed my attention. And you know, once I found the decision that I'm gonna be a Razorback, you know, I'm glad I made because I don't think it would have worked anywhere else.
Well, you guys obviously played at a very unique time in back history. You had with Darren McFadden, the had exploded on the scene. Talk about those years. What comes to mind when you think of the run that Darren made, the kind of offense, the whole goes on, used to nut, that era. What comes to mind when you think of that time? I know Peyton, a lot of discussion about you not being used enough, being underused. There was a time where, you know, leave because you really numbers rushing were not never had big numbers rushing. You know, between Felix and Darren, I think 2 of your years you caught more yardage passing, rushing. But talk about of that time period playing for the Hawks.
You know, I think that a lot of those times, you know, Gus on the scene. I mean, he's pretty much speaking now, but he was very talented, and he's the one that actually invented the Wildcat. That a lot of people hear different.
There's been some disagreement on who invented the Wildcat.
You know, I'm sorry.
All right, we listen.
I
Whatever you say.
just can't help but be honest about things. You know, I don't mind ruffling feathers. The thing is times though, you know, I was on kind of culture, and there's no doubt we had all the weapons to do what we wanted to do. But you know, I really believe that during the time, if everybody would have came together, I mean, I know we had a great year that, but I'm talking about we had talent and we knew what to do. You know, it's all about putting the pieces together and, you know, finding people to put those pieces together. But when you have juggernaut running backs like Felix, and, you know, Marcus Monk out, he was a great receiver, strong defense, and, you know, Reggie be sure of that. You know, I really do believe that in those times, if we had done bigger in what we did, became more of a unit, I think we could have, you know, really went far places those 2 years.
Felix, of that high flying Wildcat, when 3 of you would, you know, games here and there, but it was obviously McFadden got a lot of it. What do you remember about those years?
I remember competing every day. It was a competition that we had. You always want to outdo the next person, even if they're your team. But on game day, you want to outdo the other team. But, you know, they pushed to be the best I can be. And just having them around, I think, made all of us better. The competition level, it was intense. You know, see Darren make a run, you want to go out there and beat his run. You see Peyton make a, hey, I can catch one too. I mean, that just,
I couldn't run like that.
But, you know, it just to be better, you know, go out there and compete, practice, and watch film and talk stuff nut, but really couldn't hear it. You know, we had fun, and that's what I remember enjoying the time with these guys. You know, that's something that's always in my heart with, you know, because we went through some hard times just to, you know, life, and, you know, fun though.
You know, all of us remember what an exciting that was when that Wildcat started catching on, and that was the impetus for Darren McFadden's trophy runner-up years. And you know, I think you mentioned Jim LSU game when you had a game, and you know, McFadden another game when he'd be running up the middle, pop outside. I mean, it really created a headache for defenses. If you could, just your Darren McFadden as a Razorback, and your thoughts on him as a team.
You know, Darren was, you know, class act on and off the field. You know, it would never explode. I mean, you know the difference one day from the next game or a bad game. He pretty much game. And same thing about, I mean, the worst thing that happened, Felix is always gonna have a smile on his face. Now me, on the, you're gonna know when I'm mad and when I got that
Yeah, your wife's over there too, by the way. She's nodding her head yes.
No, but you know, as far as guys go, especially Darren too. I mean, with the kind of notoriety that he had and all the he had, he never changed. And you know, something really small that you know, collegiate, especially the NFL level. You know, people like think they're crap. That's not true. But you know, that Darren is a tremendous athlete. He's a person. I talked to him a lot, and you couldn't have found a better Razorback. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're obviously hoping that he can go for Dallas and can stay. Real quick, is there one? We may have already mentioned. Is there stands out to each of you that favorite to remember, either you played great or just because of the significance of the.
Enjoyed Florida. I think
The SEC championship
SEC game.
Got them beat.
It just wasn't that game, you know. But I think it was one of the best games I've ever played because down and out, you know, at one point. And you know, making a few plays. Defense got us the ball back. You know, we scored and we had them on the heel.
And then Urban Meyer did the fake putt, got him out, and then the fumbled punt return.
Absolutely. I mean, just the momentum change. It felt like the whole state of I was in that building. I mean, it was the point where it was, you know, doing the little gator thing, and all of a sudden it was woo. So, I mean, that's just the moment change, and you know, the support and all. I really was excited about that game.
Well, Gus Malin, I think when he was at SU, when he spoke here at the touchdown, the story that you and Darren on a little play at the goal line, where Darren, I think, saw you lined up, and he was supposed to, but he threw at the pass, right?
Absolutely, you know, man.
How did that work?
Well, me and Darren, we always talked about, you know, if I'm ever wide, nobody's in front of me, I'm tap my face mask to just, I'm here with you.
Coach says that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, he seen it. You know, he was back in high school, I believe, and he was able to kind of view the whole. So he seen me tap my mask, and I just stood there, ball, and we scored.
Yeah. Gus was like, no, yes. That's what. What that comes to mind for you, Peyton?
Yeah, 2007 LSU, and not because of what, just because I don't know if y'all ever been down there, but Stadium, that's a hard place to play. And that year we have been through our low highs, and that was the last game of the season. You know, they were going to play the championship next week. No matter if we beat them or not. But I mean, there's no chance that nobody gave us one game. And I think that night, for some reason, everything clicked. Everything was, and that's how we were supposed to look all year. You know, it was beautiful to a little section there that fans had, and every LSU fan out the stadium, and you just see a bunch of little red right there, and really enjoying themselves. And of course, you know, everybody's running on the field with our little baseball bats.
Got that wood.
But you know, that was really, you know, I was really happy too. I went to go deer hunt, and I thought, man, can't get no better than this. But
somehow I can see that after the win, him going deer hunt.
And I think that was my senior year, Darren's junior year when they left. But what's a better way to end a season than that? That's something you can always look upon and say, you know what, we actually did something, and we actually really did something. And you know, everything that went on, you know, during the whole college, you know, I think we had one heck of a team. And you know, I think compared to anybody in Arkansas, hit our team up against anybody's.
You want to ask, obviously, you go in the first round, 22. You'll go in a little bit different path in the NFL. You become a millionaire. I think that's right. You're a lot more than I am, my friend. I don't know it. I'm coming with it at this point. I think your contract, contract was, I think, $10 million. You know, here's a kid in Oklahoma. You become a, you know, multi-millionaire right off the bat. Memories about signing in the Cowboys out of college.
It was great.
multiply that by words.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I grew up Cowboys, and being chosen by the Cowboys, period, was just a blessing and an honor. And I tell you one thing, I always tell this. I guess story. I really think to me, but it's a story that in camp, I kind of held out here, just paperwork is done.
We have an room. She can verify that.
So I got to camp. You play there a couple weeks, and all of a sudden, I get a knock on my, and one of the people brought me at it and check in there, and those numbers, and I must have hung on to that check hard because I'm from a small town. You really don't nothing like that up at your door, and
So that did right there.
that did a deal, and I was, this is it, right? I gotta go out here and make this work, and from there on, it's just
Work now with that check, right?
So yeah, it was something that I remember, and I like to tell that story.
First round, 22nd. You were in the 7th round. What did you feel like? Hey, I'm just thankful to be drafted. They overlooked me. I've got a chip on my shoulder. You got drafted by the Broncos. Mike Shanahan was the coach at the time. Remember about that? What were your feelings getting drafted 7th?
It's same story. It was one of those things where, we thought we were going to go higher, and we ended up didn't. And Coach Shanahan calls me, and I had my whole family over there. They're saying, how you feel like to be a Bronco? And I'm so upset during this time. If you ever just been, the time's so stressful, and you have all your family over there, and you feel embarrassed. Then, I'm just like, I'm good, I get, I'll head down there.
Honest.
But you end up going down there. This was back when season was still really bad. And I took me out of my hotel room, duct taped me to a table. And, if meetings, you get fined $4,000. And Coach Shanahan, I just remember they duct taped the table, and they put me next to the team meeting room. And I can hear him talk, and Peyton, I'm just thinking of my duct tape like, God, this ain't good. And I stayed for another 2.5 hours. And then go out to practice, and everybody's looking at me and just getting up, and they tell the coaches. And I remember Coach walked by, and he just looked at me, and he just shook. And I'm thinking, well, he's going to come back and get some. No. It waited about another 45. Somebody finally came up and got me. I at the point I was like, I'm just going to get, your 7th round money. You just go out there and everything you got. I went out there, and he was just, and we're good. But that year I was starting, and I think ended up 5 running backs go down. We're playing Cleveland on Thursday night, and Bobby, he's my running back coach, and you think I'm honest, this guy, unbelievable. But I remember I come in, and he was a 4th draft pick, and they really wanted him to be the next Davis because he had that kind of stuff. He ended up tearing his ACL. And Coach Turner just with this scoff, like, I can't believe this. And he looked at me and goes, well, you all right. Get in. And, I get in there, and it happened, and, I had a really good game there stretch until I took my hamstring off the bone and against Kansas. And that was real, that was time for me because, I finally felt like, hey, I'm some momentum going. I can do something with this. For one thing, Bobby Turner was one man in my life. During a lot of times I played, he believed in me and really wanted to do things and knew that I could. And he was a great, we still keep in contact. But, I look at those times and I miss those times. It's good to be here. It's good to be back in the state. I'm looking to have a long here and, hopefully be a help.
In the league, 2 different stories. Peyton took advantage of every time they got hurt in front of you. Did that as well, I think, guys. At your chance, maybe they didn't look at you. guy, but when you got your chance, you made. Felix, I know it was you had injury. You know, I'd forgotten hear what Jim said. That 1996 play it was first time for Dallas to have. No, it was 96 they had won a play. You guys had won a game. He had 148 yards and a 30-yard reception. He was a Cowboy, I think, third in the all list. But how frustrating is it for you to continue to have after injury? Do you think that sort of hurts you and your stay at Dallas?
I had something to do, a lot to do, actually. Staying on the football field is what they want out of a player, and it's hard when you have injury, you have to deal with how long it's going to take when you get out here, and I'm going to do my best to get, but I want to perform at the high. I don't want to be out there around and hurting the team, helping them. So when I kept getting injured and nicks and stuff like that, it just kind of
just couldn't get over the hump.
Couldn't get over. You finally get out there and play, then something happens. Yeah. And
how was Jerry during that process with you? Obviously, you put a lot of money in, and he wanted to keep you healthy, but frustrated. How was Jerry with you?
He handled it. He knew how to pull me to the side and say, "Hey, you just got to get better. We still need you out there, and we got to do what we do to get you right." He was real patient with me, and I really appreciated that from him. He understood that things happen, and especially with the position we play. Same with Darren. It's hard to stay healthy. You're getting pounded every day, and get out there and finally feel the best. Something happened. It's just so frustrating for you.
I got to ask Peyton. Did anybody see the Bleacher Report article on Peyton? It was a pretty big deal, and you said that you wanted to talk, and you're sort of nervous. And we all, those of us who are athletes or former athletes, when you get interviewed, you know what they're going to end up writing. But one of the things I thought was interesting that you admitted in the article was about fought through some depression. Sometimes people think big football player, can't deal with that, but you were going through emotional things at the time. Contract was going on, self-doubt, and was in your career at some point. Talk about and just the fact to come out and be honest in that bleacher what you were going through.
I think every athlete, professional athlete, at some point, I think everybody has issues. And the reason why I think that is because in order where you've been on, you've always to, outcompete somebody, go through all these challenges, jump over all these obstacles. So after a while, you start doubting yourself. But, I've always felt before, I was anybody's first choice. I was always somebody's seventh choice. And there's a lot that I did that brought myself to the top. And, at that point, there was a lot of things that were out of control. And, I was involved with the Cleveland community. It felt like at a time, the Cleveland staff was actually against me because I was hurt, and who and I am, I've just always there when I wasn't ready, my hamstring again and again. And then when you're at home or you're in a facility and there's nothing you can to change your situation. That was for me because usually I can go out the difference, prove people wrong. But that was the worst year that I ever had as football goes. And I look back before you look at you always say what I things differently. But I said something differently, and there's no doubt that I made some mistakes. But I'm now that I look at it now, I'm really sad where I've been and what I've done. And even when I should have kept my mouth shut, speak the truth. I'm glad I did.
You just acknowledge not to short Peyton after what I said about Felix. After you were drafted 7th, you came back able to sign some pretty good contracts. You said you've been very good money as well that will save a lot. That we talked today how some guys burn through, and I know Felix said he's been prudent with his money and the same, and maybe being picked in the 7th round certainly made more money by as long as you did.
Enough. You know, I just everything I had, might as well just dig a hole in my yard and put my money there. Long time there, but then things changed. But
You'll be riding in the back seat of Northwest Arkansas.
well, like I said, honesty. Just be honest. I mean, every time I work, there's a FedEx truck coming. I know everyone what I'm talking about. Husbands are just sweat. And I'll ask my wife, what did you get? Well, let me she got to think what day. Different things come in different days.
Look at
no. But then again, though, on the other side of the topic, I'm a messy guy. My wife cleans, she cooks for me, takes care of me. And even though I sit there and gripe about, babe, don't spend that money, I'm really hypocritical after all the things. And they're right, babe.
Round of applause for her. I was going to ask you guys before we wrap up here. I know you mentioned today you had some bleeding on the brain, and I know you've had a ton of injuries. I didn't ask you about the concussion talk, and obviously the big NFL. Have you had issues with concussion symptoms at this point for both with you?
I've been blessed. I had any issues with syndromes with brain damage. I run the guys.
Yeah, that's right. Because not well, Peyton would either jump on top of you or he'd run. What about you, Peyton? I know you talked about bleeding on the brain earlier today on the bus.
Yeah, I had a lot of rough times in professional football. 7 years, and I never kind of got to dodge anybody. Growing up with my family and everything, so, you look at me, you're like, the fastest. I'm going to see if I can make it. And I said, don't just everybody. And so when you're putting that in your mind, even when your guy's 400 pounds, just think you can outrun run over anybody. And, I've had about 5 concussions. And, I think this last one last year, Seattle, and I caught a ball over and I stay on my feet. Well, it called up on me and ran me to the ground and hit my head. I kind of was a little bit and still kind of remember where I was, but I said, get on kickoff team to play. Well, I hit the guy, and I was and I came back to the room, and they just regular concussion. And well, we were going back and we look at the MRIs, and they said, well, just suit up practice day, and I was really excited. And then Coach Ronnie Brown, he put me back in the office, their head trainer. He said, the doctor just said you had bleeding on the brain, sit you out the rest of the year. What kind of side swipe is that? It was really just random. But, the way they talked to me about it was, I believe Trent Dilfer, same one. There's only been 2 NFL history, but bleeding inside the cranium where, people, car accidents barely get. And, he was like a father figure, if you're my son, tell you not to play. At the time, I was the brightest crayon on the box. Maybe there's some truth in it. But, I really do believe that if I wasn't married and had a family, that I still could play, because when you're a professional athlete, it's all you have. And so, you want to try to be the best you can at it. But when you're family and you actually enjoy being home and actually enjoy being with family, unlike a lot of NFL do, you have else to live for, and that's a lot more important.
Before we let you, a round of applause for that. Last question. You guys, are you fans of Brett Bielema doing it at Arkansas? Are you glad to see Arkansas has been through some tough last few years? It looks like he's got the program going in the right direction. Have you had a chance to monitor, watch the program? Are you happy with what he's doing?
Yeah, you actually kind of watch what he's been doing last couple of years. He's actually doing a great job. He's getting his style up onto the and actually wanted to do what he do. When played them against, they had big linemen and run the ball. So that's here, and I'm excited. What he has this year. You know.
What about you, Pat?
You know, I think he definitely track. I think that you know, the foundation football team should be your running. You know, defensive be stopping the run. He's done a great job with that. You know, I think that I think that we got to deep threats. We got to throw the ball down, and we got to have a quarterback do that. We have to have guys do that. You know, I think as long as he's sticking to the basic, which he's doing, Arkansas will win a lot of ball games. I think that he's getting more talent, you know, for a lot of different parts in the country than we could get. Felix were in school, you know, he can northern states and get the linemen that we've got. Huge blessing. But, you know, I just remember last year when I saw you get the, you know, during the you know, Odell Beckham, he's from LSU and I'm from Arkansas. Just like, let's put some money on the game. And he was sitting there, and I go, all right, we'll put 1,000 on the game. And he misheard me.
Big money.
Like, he said 10,000. I was like, no. I didn't want to say anything. I was like, they better win.
$10,000.
They better win. And then he said, I kept my wife up all night. I mean, I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting on TV, and, you know, I gamble usually. You have money on a game, you got in that ball game now. And then I just remember Arkansas off, and I'm so happy I could get to the facility next morning. And he looked at me, 1,000, right? I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, it's 1,000. But no, honestly, I mean, if I was pulling for Brett Bielema, that was the time.
Hey, if you've enjoyed two great former quarterbacks, let's give them a round of applause. Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis. Thank you for being here. Gunn, thank you for being here. Clint Sterner, being here. Linda Sterner. Charlie Weiss, next Tuesday. Labor Day next Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Great job, Felix. Great job, Peyton. 55 members, you want to come up and get your paid?
Felix, great job. Thank you.